What is going on, Reject Nation? We're gonna watch from our friends over at new Rockstars Wandavision, episode 3, their Easter eggs and breakdown video. When the episode 1 and 2 came out, there was other stuff we were covering that weekend. And I kid you not, there was like a gazillion comments of people hitting me up on Twitter. We're like, where's your reaction to the new Rockstars? And this rarely happens for things that are not trailer related. And I was like, I'm sorry, there's other stuff to cover right now. But for all those people who were demanding that we continue on with the reactions to these new Rockstars breakdowns, thank you. I mean, even Zach and Eric encourage our reactions. Zach is the producer of New Rockstars. And Eric Voss, of course, encourage our reactions as well. We must continue them.
Absolutely.
So everyone who is getting mad at us for not putting it up,
you better be here.
You better be viewing this video right now.
Thrice at least.
Right now. Let's talk about it.
Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Eric Voss, and this is a breakdown of WandaVision Episode 3. An episode that, spoiler warning, confirms Wanda and Vision's babies as
Wiccan
Billy
and
Kaplan
Speed.
and Tommy Shepard, future Young Avengers Wiccan and Speed, all while getting agonizingly closer to revealing what the hell is going on in Westview. So I'm going to comb through this episode shot by shot for the interesting clues and details that you might have missed. After episodes based on The Dick Van Dyke Show and Bewitched, Episode 3's opening titles mix in influences from 70s sitcoms.
Yes.
The Brady Bunch with the 3x3 grid on the title, Three's Company with the bike riding, and the music sounds like the Partridge Family theme, not the Come On Get Happy featured in Ant-Man the Wasp, but the theme from the first season.
That's muted in this video.
What? There's sound? What do you mean?
And once again, hexagons. Despite all the other aesthetics updating through the decades, this geometric formation keeps coming back. It's constant. Now, sure, not every hexagon you see in the MCU is related. Hexagons are common shapes that show up everywhere. The wormhole grid of the MCU, the barrier of Wakanda, the
Nothing
logo.
is by accident.
But no, we are probably not going to see the Iron Man 3 organization in the same series. General viewers are trying to get to know what SWORD is. One Dharma initiative per show, people, but within WandaVision, episode to episode, there could be a connection amongst the hexagons we see in this series.
I mean, probably.
Or that honeycomb hive Westview theory, or simply Wanda's chaos magic, often being called hex magic. In the opening on the
That's
movie,
probably it.
It's everything.
Oddly, a 2013 title in a 70s setting. Now, there could be a parallel between WandaVision and The Wizard of Oz. This series also has multiple witches, a tin man, and seems to be all about smoke and mirror.
I never thought about that.
It's an
interesting parallel,
Sam
yeah.
Raimi, who's currently directing Elizabeth Olsen in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which the series might be setting up Wanda to be the villain of. Agnes, once again, has her...
I mean, you see, I just love stuff like that when Eric says those things, because I'm like, that's probably all not really linked, but it's cool. It's a nice Easter egg.
The threads, I see how you got there. Well done.
That makes sure. Why not? It's connected. Your Kevin Bacon 6-degree separation thing.
6 degrees of Easter eggs.
Agnes, once again, has her pendant, which appears to show 3 figures. Some are saying this could be connected to the 3 witches of Macbeth. I'm not sure, though. There's definitely a taller one that holds something above
Like
these
a
2
scythe.
smaller ones. Maybe a clue that Wanda's children are being kind of marionetted by another entity actually pulling the strings. Herb greets Vision with that same finger guns gesture that he did last episode. Interestingly, Herb does do a lot of hubbing with Agnes this episode, and she did that same pew 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 gesture to the mailman last episode.
Stick him up.
Don't shoot, I'm just a messenger.
Vision's swing
yeah.
set has a
What?
green and yellow color scheme matching his
What does that
wardrobe
mean?
and the colors of his classic costume in the comics, which he will show up wearing later this series. And you'll notice when Vision later swings with Wanda, you can briefly see Paul Bettany's flesh arm under his sleeve. Vision reads this red library
Script
book
supervisor!
titled Pregnancy, The Psychological Experience by Libby and Arthur Coleman. It looks super worn down, which is a bit odd because it was first published in 1973, the decade this sitcom is set in. The library book should not be that beaten up. Some say that shadowy figure on the front looks like Mephisto. Others say it kind of looks like Mysterio, who, if you do think about it, in Spider-Man 3 set photos, is being made into this conspiracy martyr with a bunch of other flyers for missing children. We'll see how that
the
goes.
children?
Their new home.
And Mysterio, illusions.
Absolutely. This could all be one big illusion.
And Mephisto, also likely.
Yeah. Maybe they've teamed up. Maybe they're together.
It's hard to outsmart Derek.
The set is modeled on the living room, the rock wall, the stairs of the Brady home. Wanda's hair is even fashioned like Marsha Brady, long, straight, and parted down the middle. Careful, Wanda, it is the 70s. Bundy is still on the loose. Vision asks...
Oh, God.
I mean, practically overnight. I mean, how did this happen?
That sharp leg squeeze. We do start to see this episode a diverging of Wanda's and Vision's motives and their levels of cognition. Wanda is far more concerned with hiding their superhero natures and nesting, while Vision seems like he's on that same page, but he totally publicly reveals his powers in his pursuit to figure out what the hell is going on, something that by the end of the episode, Wanda doesn't seem to care that much about. Dr. Nielsen's kind of an idiot.
We let the little ladies keep tabs on their growing babies with fruit. Makes it simple for them.
Son of a bitch. Now, in his fruit comparison, he says at 7 months, it's the size of a pineapple. The fruit we later see Wanda carving up may be the same pineapple Agnes gave them in episode 1. It's like she knew these fruit bebes were the plan the whole time. Now, the doctor's headed out on vacation.
Bermuda, baby.
Oh, I just love how intertwined everything is. That is so neat.
The pineapple?
There's no way to tell if that's the same pineapple. Is there?
definitely the same
I'm
pineapple.
literally wasting my
Get the script supervisor.
This is easily the
props
worst
department.
unnecessary pause during reaction I've ever done in my life.
It's okay. There are a lot of great classic pineapples in popular culture.
We got several more minutes to go here.
Interesting destination associated with the Bermuda Triangle, aka the Devil's Triangle, where various vessels over the years have gone missing. Not unlike the Sword toy helicopter that suddenly appeared in Westview after perhaps vanishing from the outside world as a life-size aircraft. Westview here could be
That's
the
so
Bermuda
cool.
Hexagon, the Devil's Hexagon, with a dark agenda to use the doctor's words, make a Bermuda baby.
Bermuda, baby.
Meanwhile, Herb is glitching. This tells us Herb isn't playing a part actively to deceive them, but under a kind of spell that is causing him to malfunction like this. It's a lot like the simulated reality in Rick and Morty, which also similarly glitches.
My man.
My man.
And in just the time he was outside, Wanda's pregnancy jumps to 5 months, judging by the papaya he holds beside her womb. Like the beeping toaster and the ticking Strucker watch, time's getting faster and faster. It isn't advancing logarithmically, it's a curved exponential acceleration. In the nursery, Wanda eats oranges, probably the orange that dropped off the table in the previous scene. Orange slices are kind of a thing in the MCU. Scott Lang mentioned them as a recharge food after growing in Civil War.
Does anyone have any orange slices?
And his same orange slices showed back up again in Endgame if you were looking closely. But they're painting with Simser Paint, Universe of Color, which is a nod to Jerry Simser, a Marvel Studios storyboard artist for WandaVision, Doctor Strange, and Multiverse of
How
Madness,
neat.
and She-Hulk. Now, Wanda's Butterfly
That's
Mobile
a real
comes
Easter
to
egg
life.
right there.
It's kind of fluttery. Oh, did I do that? I didn't mean to.
Did I do that? Wanda, the 80s sitcom Urkelverse is until next week. Also, Wanda is verbalizing here how she accidentally changes the world and brings beings to life with just words blabbed out. Something that could happen with, say, mutants. But instead of no more mutants, let there be mutants.
Oh, the mutants,
But it doesn't
baby!
mean much.
That's the character turn I want.
I mean, that's the theory that I had. I think a lot of us had that theory ultimately, is that they would do a flipper because the WandaVision show isn't. Most of Marvel MCU is not just like, let's just do exactly the comics. They deviate a lot and they do their own thing. And WandaVision is certainly no exception to it all. But I would love that flipper. Instead of ending on no more mutants like how it did in the comic, they used to flip it around in the MCU, which actually kind of honors the reality bending, warping even more in a meta kind of way.
Absolutely.
By doing that for like, oh, in the comics we did this, but by adapting the comics we did the opposite thing, but it would have a kind of a weird similar effect to a certain extent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
That'd
like
be
a
pretty
mirror
cool.
dovetailing.
Yeah, it'd be neat. It'd be neat. Oh, everything I tried saying in 18 sentences, you said in 1. I'm proud of you.
Thanks, man. That's why I'm here.
Really? Yeah. Well, I was thinking Tommy. Just a Nice classic all-American name.
Ah, confirmed! As we've speculated for the past year, Wanda's children are indeed Billy Kaplan and Tommy Shepard, the Marvel Mutants and Young Avengers Wiccan and Speed, respectively. Their story in the Marvel comics is a little confusing. See, when Wanda first has her kids in the comics, they aren't really given full identities yet. They are just kind of revealed to be illusory pieces of Mephisto's soul and then are later reassembled into Mephisto. Agatha wipes her memory, but then later Wanda tries to rematerialize these kids in House of M, and around this era in comics, Wiccan and Speed are introduced as Young Avengers, and then they're kind of connected back as Wanda's mutant children via that Mephisto link. I know, huh? It looks like the MCU is simplifying this. WandaVision is a kind of prelude to Wanda's reality flipping in House of M, setting up future Young Avengers in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Kids who will team up with Kate Bishop from the upcoming Hawkeye series, Cassie Lang from the Ant-Man the Wasp Quantumania movie, and others. Vision quotes Shakespeare.
All the world's a stage, all the men and women merely players.
This is the famous 7 Ages of Man monologue from As You Like It. It's an extended metaphor comparing the life of a person to a theatrical performance, paralleling the central conceit of WandaVision, in which these Avengers' lives are a kind of performative scripted routine that's in front of an audience. The kitchen soap is labeled coy.
How do you...
Shakespeare was all about those comics.
I'm just like, what is the research like on these videos? Lately when we were doing this pause react thing, I try to provide like additional commentary on top of it. And then every time I do new Rockstars, I'm just like...
You're just sitting here having your mind.
I'm at the point where all I'm doing is showing their video. I'm not,
just sitting here, this is a learn along. This isn't even really a reaction. This is edutainment at its finest.
Are you guys literally scrubbing this frame by frame? And how quickly you guys got this assembled? You're just like, well, I know what that book is. Is it just you, Eric, who's putting this all together?
I mean, that is a pretty famous passage, but I never stopped to think about how perfectly it
Most people won't do it, and you have to go and find that passage, make sure you're nailing it right.
Yeah, that's true.
It's very impressive, and it does mirror that. And that's what I mean, man. You can't just say the hexagons are just a normal shape. It's all tied in. It's all tied in some way.
Could have been an octagon for specific.
Scripted routine that's in front of an audience. The kitchen soap is labeled coy, maybe a nod to this whole reality.
Or Coy John
Corky Mercs.
Truth. Meanwhile, over at the Joneses, Phil reads the newspaper with the headline, 2 fire hydrants added on Main Street. Jessica actually yesterday pointed out how the fold makes it look like the
HYDRA.
word HYDRA. But the lamp is what I'm looking at. It's got these 2 cherubs on it. Remember, Dottie is for the children. Children that are now in Westview as Wanda's twin babies, Billy and Tommy. Then this moment.
I think something's wrong here, Wanda. Yes, I know what you mean. The truth is, we are in uncharted waters.
Yes, this is an intentional editing choice. The music changes from dead serious scoring to cutesy sitcom crap. It's kind of like when Wanda said no and rewound Westview. It's the same kind of language of video editing. It looks as though Wanda again is the one doing it. Notice her right before the jump.
Looks as if.
Side to side, as if to say, no, get me out of this conversation.
Of course
I
she's
can't handle
doing
the
it.
truth. I also like
Like a
how
panic
in the
moment.
revised cut afterwards, Vision says we are in uncharted waters, much like the uncharted waters within the Bermuda Triangle. Devil's hexagon, let's make this a thing. Maybe everything we are seeing on the inside of this reality is a kind of sitcom feed that Wanda is projecting out on local airwaves. That's how SWORD is monitoring her, and why Wanda can cover up the cracks in the form of this sort of awkward editing. Now, in the commercial...
Wait, I'm a little confused. Thank God we're pausing. Okay. What is he saying? He's emitting it in a sitcom feed?
Well, what
so
he's,
like other people can be watching this, right?
I
like
guess,
other people can watch this show.
Yeah, like maybe Wanda, whatever's happening with her, sort of emitting this experience through the lens of this sitcom, and maybe somehow telepathically they were able to tap into that through the airwaves or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, and that's what it would explain this.
Yeah.
Post credit, not post in the series season premiere finale.
Yeah.
What am I trying to say?
At
For
the final
ending
moments of the season
of the
premiere.
first season, first episode.
the credits within the show.
Clearly, I was not up to the
As
task
they
to
reveal
even
that
listen
this
to a
sitcom
Rockstars
reality
video
is not
today.
reality.
Wow. Okay.
Like
That's
maybe this
weird.
is the strange way Wanda's mind is packaged. This
Terrible way to hide, Wanda.
Yeah, you're gonna call more attention. People are gonna be tuning in. Who else is tuning in besides Sword?
Who in this Marvel world is just a regular human who's just like, what's this weird show on
There's
TV?
gotta be a couple like conspiracy nuts or something living in this universe who have some kind of antenna that's gonna tap in.
Because, yeah, that is an interesting point. I do hope by the end of this series they explain why it's sitcoms. Wanda better, while she was having a torturous life, have something imbued in her of,
Don't worry.
oh, growing up, my escape was television sitcoms.
At the most intense finale moment, there will be a fade to white, and then we'll just see her and Pietro watching, Bewitched.
Oh, yeah, and Roseanne.
That's what raised us.
And why Wanda can cover up the cracks in the form of this sort of awkward editing. Now, in the commercial, the boy...
I'll also say Wanda's the best person to be a showrunner. She
Absolutely.
stars in it, she edits
Yeah,
it, she
man.
does the production design.
She's got all the stories. She even does a lot of the set. I mean, look at the magic show scene. Set dressing,
she
props.
does it all, the cinematography,
Rigging,
the lighting, my
electrical
God, everything.
effects.
All the fruit, the catering, like she is the best showrunner.
color
that's ever
department.
existed.
Boy in the background is played by Wesley Kimmel, nephew to Jimmy Kimmel, who in a preseason interview with Paul Bettany
Nepotism!
flew by objecting to not being invited to the Friends and Family studio taping.
I think it was a friends and family kind of
What?
audience.
Friends and family, I'm an employee.
And of course, the product is HYDRA Soak, with the HYDRA logo on the design pattern. This is actually a fascinating nod to another Marvel TV series, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.,
What?
in which Coulson, in an episode when he was in a simulation called The Framework,
Oh, God,
rants
I'm just
about
getting there.
HYDRA soap that controlled people's minds.
Just
I
right.
figured it out a long time ago if it wasn't for the mind control soap.
Yeah. Wait, what?
That blue soap everyone uses? HYDRA loads it up with chemicals. It seeps into our bloodstream, implants false memories into our brains. They want us to believe this is a magical place. But don't worry, I'm clear. I make my own soap now.
Whoa!
Now, obviously, that was just a hilarious...
I wish you could talk about that.
I literally just
That is
got,
such a big giveaway.
I just got to the episode where they all go into the framework.
Such a nifty Easter egg.
Oh, well, I'm excited to
John
find out.
does reaction watch-alongs for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on Patreon,
Yes.
and so apparently that's what he's saying. Damn, that is a hell of an Easter egg, then. I'm like, they just explained the shit out of that bar of soap right there.
Hey, no, this is great because like next week or the week after, I'm gonna get the full breakdown on this.
And they're also honoring Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the show that's kind of crazy.
That among at least fans, is the one that still is gleaning for respect. Even the MCU Marvel,
the one where
Netflix,
it seemed like
that's what it is.
Feige approved and then wanted nothing to do with it afterwards. That's the one.
Hey, the Netflix shows can come back in some form. So can S.H.I.E.L.D.
Wow, they really explained that.
Conspiracy theory by Coulson, and I'm not sure if Westview is the exact same thing as that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. framework, but I do still love this parallel because obviously Wanda is in the same kind of fictitious reality, and these commercials are giving us lots of callbacks to her past as a HYDRA lab rat. Find the goddess within is an interesting tagline, maybe reflecting Wanda's role as the goddess of this pocket reality, an emerging Omega level threat in the MCU, and like the HYDRA Strucker watch, always make time, and that Stark toaster, forget the past, focus on the future. It's kind of another call.
Everything's
to
about
action
time.
for this goddess. Also, in Marvel lore, Wanda's sorcery kind of comes from a curse from the demon god Chthon. Could be tied to that.
Jesus.
Jessica brought up the interesting theory that this could be the Greek goddess of witches, Hecate, whom Wanda meets in the James Robinson Scarlet Witch 2016 solo series. Now, Wanda comically tries to hide her pregnancy from Geraldine. It's kind of a meta nod to the way sitcoms will awkwardly hide pregnant cast members' baby bumps with props and blocking. Wanda tries to
I didn't pick up on that.
I didn't think about it at the time.
That's really, it's so
That
true.
is like a classic
It's
TV
classic.
thing.
And actually, and then for Friends, Lisa Kudrow got pregnant. They worked. I liked it better when they just worked it into the series somehow.
Yeah.
But that is true. They will often try to hide it. But that is. I just thought it was just a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but that works. That's cool. That's neat.
tries to banish the stork with this red smoke, much like the red smoke used by the Wicked Witch of the West. But the smoke doesn't work, suggesting that Wanda's not totally in control of this reality. Wanda
She needs more funding for her television show.
Yeah, she's running out of budget.
Nights hell. And notice how Wanda's final scream has this deep demonic echo to it.
I know. Yeah.
Billy and Tommy are born. Actually, if you think about it, Tommy does come out first because he's speed, baby. Dr. Nielsen decides to cancel his trip.
I don't think we'll get away after all. Small towns, you know, so hard to escape.
Followed by Vision catching Agnes and Herb.
Did you lose power too?
Oh, sure did. But Ralph looks better in the dark, so I'm not complaining.
You know, it is pretty much the same joke that we saw with Phil and Dottie. Not very original, Agnes. Is your shadow-bound husband really the Grim Reaper or Mephisto? Herb and Agnes cast doubt on Geraldine, calling her an outsider.
She's new to town. Brand new.
There's no family, no husband, no home.
She came here because we're all... She came here because we're all what? What are you trying to tell me? Because we're all...
Stop it!
Ah, sounds like Herb was about to say trapped, or we're all under a spell, maybe even dead. I find Agnes...
Sounds like Herb was about to say a lot of different things.
It sounds like it could have been anything. We're in a tight spot.
I thought he was gonna say like Agatha cut him off at the beginning of this word. Then it's just a whole lot of fill in the blanks.
We're hungry. We're lost. We're dead. No. Damn. We're worried? No.
But no, you're right, 100%. Yeah, I thought it was just interrupted too. That's what I thought when I was watching it.
This is reaction interesting because she clearly views Geraldine / Monica as a threat and wants her gone, but she also desperately does not want Herb to reveal to Vision what is really going on just yet. In fact, her words, "stop it," are exactly what Mrs. Hart said when she broke down, kind of like a skipping record.
Stop it.
Yes!
Oh!
Yes!
Stop it.
That's
Agnes wants to
right.
keep the Westview illusion alive, and she seems to exert some control over Herb and the others in the town to maintain that charade, but...
Wait a minute, though. Wait.
Stop it is also a thing
This is
people...
a
when they want things to stop. But it is a moment. It is a very...
I mean, is the implication that he's saying is he saying that Agatha part of the mind-bending, controlling this reality? So was she controlling whoever that person is? You know, I can't find the footage now. But you know what I'm trying to say?
Mary Jo Rupp's character, yeah.
Yeah, it was like interrupting the character because when that guy was choking, it was breaking the reality that they were living in at the time of that show. So, yeah.
I'd be curious.
This character said the, like that character said the. No, I think there's actually something to it. It does seem specific.
Yeah.
Some control over Herb and the others in the town to maintain that charade, but they need Wanda to also want to stay plugged in, using her desire for the children to keep her happy. Meanwhile, Sword and Monica are a threat to that illusion. They want to end it. They want to break Wanda free and free the people of this town. Thus, Agnes's apprehension toward Monica. And based on Wanda turning on Monica at the end of this episode, looks like Wanda's still drinking Agnes's Kool-Aid for now. Then Wanda tells Monica,
I'm a twin. I had a brother. His name was Pietro.
Pietro Maximoff, Quicksilver. He died in Sokovia in Age of Ultron. And Wanda's tapping back into this past when she sings the Sokovian lullaby. And I love how Wanda's accent reverts when she says Pietro. And then Monica, thinking she has
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. The accent, I didn't even notice that. I thought it was just the pronunciation of his name.
It could also be that. Maybe she just wants to honor those Eastern European roots by the way she says, you know, the Eastern European iteration of Peter.
We live in California where there's a lot of Spanish-speaking folk out here. And a lot of the time, you know, they might just sound perfect American accent, and then they'll just say a name in Spanish and like... I can't even say it. Yeah, it's like all the enunciations.
All
it's like
the
just
culture,
a
yeah.
personality shift too.
Like whoa.
Yeah.
And without
you say quesadillo way different than I do. Yeah. I mean, she has an American accent now. She did lose that.
Yeah.
And then Monica, thinking she has an in here, tries to connect with her.
He was killed by Ultron, wasn't he?
And this breaks Wanda out of the trance, just briefly returning her to that reality of being an Avenger and that whole MCU history. But it's too early. Wanda does not want that right now. And she sees that sword necklace and connects it to the logo that she saw on the helicopter toy on the Beekeeper. She steps in threateningly, and then suddenly Monica is gone.
Where's Geraldine?
Oh, she left, honey.
So eerie, right? So,
Wanda
yeah.
looks eerily calm, kind of like Mia Farrow at the end of Rosemary's Baby, or that creepy boy at the end of the Twilight Zone episode after he banished the bad man. The aspect ratio widens out, and we see the exterior sword perimeter camp as Monica crash lands outside to the monkey's Daydream Believer, which we talked about in the earlier trailer breakdown. In these shots, you can see the town welcome sign with logos for various community groups, including the Eagle Club and the Community Watch Group. I think that's Wandavision joined. It's got this eye logo. Whether Sword or someone else, someone is always watching Westview.
Sauron.
Closely, there is a house visible from the outside, telling us that Westview was an actual town established in the real world before Wanda's pocket reality warped it into this sitcom illusion. Also note, and this is important, Monica's 70s clothes do not change on the outside, suggesting that whatever...
Wait, we gotta slow that down. It's a great catch.
So this place already exists.
Yeah, that's the thing we were like questioning. Literally, we watched our reaction. I was questioning this whole thing, but so she took over a town and started warping it. I didn't think that would be the case.
How sinister.
Messed up. But you know, it's good to always shoot your shows on location.
Absolutely, it's production value. It's plus, yeah, she's got all these free extras, all this free talent,
and plus, you know, it does well for the town, the community. You know, they need some help.
Exactly, they'll get more people moving in. The economy's
get some tourists.
gonna
That's how
boom.
you do it, there, man. There you go, Wanda. You're making it happen.
Tax breaks from the government for shooting in Westview.
I did not even think about that, but that is almost a pretty much solid identifier for it. She's messing with this town and making their lives great.
That's right.
Making their lives a television show.
Her.
Damn you, Wanda.
That's what you all wanted, is to be famous.
World before Wanda's pocket reality warped it into this sitcom illusion. Also note, and this is important, Monica's 70s clothes do not change on the outside, suggesting that whatever changes Wanda makes on the inside of the pocket reality remain lasting changes to all of reality on the outside.
I was right.
Something to keep in mind in case Wanda happens to say, "Let there be mutants."
Oh my.
One last detail I want to leave you with. In the closing credits of these episodes, you can briefly hear among all the scoring.
Whoa, I love that catch. I love that of her clothes and outfit, everything about Monica changed.
Yeah.
And so when she goes back into the reality, that and then with the music, like I am terribly repeating what he just said. There's no point in me doing that. I just want to say I love it. That's good. But that's true, right? That is true. That makes it. I mean, it makes whatever is in that reality can be finite once you're out of there.
Unless they sent her in with like a full just wardrobe of decade appropriate clothing, some in color, some in not.
In the closing credits of these episodes, you can briefly hear among all the scoring the sounds of a woman wailing in sadness.
What?
So however Wanda may seem right now,
I thought that was just like a vocal harmony in the
Support us by checking out our unusual couple shirt.
That's what I'm
gonna go out on a limb and say that is not an Easter egg.
Rockstar, subscribe to Rockstars on YouTube. Get your bell for watching. Boom. Did I do that?
Of course you
did, Eric. You
did it
rocked.
all, Eric Boss.
That was great. That was amazing. Again, they are the kings. There's a lot of channels out there that I respect, that I love, that I really admire for their incredible breakdowns.
None so much as New Rock.
But really, none so much as them. I think they are the best at it. There's a lot that I really do love and suburbs that we've reacted to before, but damn, do they blow my mind.
Absolutely.
Specifically Eric Boss. Damn, does Eric Boss himself blow my mind. And kudos to the editors. They have shifted a lot of questions that we had were actually well addressed here with pretty solid theories. All right, guys. Well, subscribe to New Rockstars if you haven't done so already. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to us. Check out our Wanda reaction. We'll see you guys soon.